she replies late. Seems cold. But then, out of nowhere, she compliments your shirt or gives you a smile that's warmer than you expected. It's like 1 minute she's a glacier, and the next, she's the sun. If you've ever been in this mixed signals limbo, you're not imagining it. Women can feel real attraction but try to cover it up. Sometimes because they're nervous, sometimes because they're testing you, and sometimes because they're not ready to admit what's going on in their own head. Psychology has a lot to say about this. And once you know the patterns, you'll be able to spot when she's secretly into you, even if she's working overtime to hide it. Let's break down 10 subtle greeting behaviors that give her away. 1. The delayed greeting, with a second look. Sometimes she doesn't greet you right away. You pass by, maybe even make brief eye contact, and she gives a neutral or almost indifferent glance. But then, just a beat later, she turns back, and her expression softens. This tiny shift isn't random. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance. Her brain is torn between, I like this guy, and I can't look too interested. The first reaction is the guarded, socially safe one. The second reaction, the pause and turn, is her real feelings leaking through. That second look is rarely for people she feels nothing for. 2. The microexpression, flash. When you first lock eyes, there's a quick, genuine smile. Not the polite, practiced kind, but the one that lights up her face for half a second before she shuts it down. This is what psychologists call a microexpression, an unfiltered emotion that shows up for less than a second before the brain engages its mask. She might go back to a calmer, cooler demeanor immediately after, but that flash of joy means your presence hit her on a deeper level than she wants to admit. You don't trigger that kind of reaction if you're just background noise. 3. The overly neutral tone. She says hey in a way that's almost too flat. No inflection, no spark. Most guys take this as disinterest, but in many cases, it's a reverse indicator. She's deliberately underplaying her voice to avoid giving away how she actually feels. Why? Sometimes it's to test how you respond. Will you try too hard to win her over, or will you keep your cool? This is her way of seeing if you can handle her without needing constant validation. A confident man stays steady, and that's exactly the response she's subconsciously hoping for. 4th, selective attention. She might seem distracted at first. Maybe she's looking at her phone, scanning the room, or shuffling papers. But when you actually start speaking, it's like a switch flips. Suddenly, her eyes lock in, her posture shifts, and you have her full attention. This is selective attention in action. The brain naturally tunes in to what it finds most stimulating or emotionally relevant. If she's ignoring you before speaking, it could be her way of pretending she's not waiting for that moment. But the sudden focus says you've been on her radar all along. 5. The friend zone, hug that lingers. On the surface, it's just a casual hug, the same one she might give any friend. But if you pay attention, you notice it's just a bit slower to break, or there's a subtle squeeze before she lets go. Physical contact releases oxytocin, the bonding hormone, which is why we tend to hold on longer to people we feel connected to. That tiny pause is her indulging in closeness while still keeping the interaction innocent, enough to fly under the radar. If you've ever compared it to how she hugs actual friends she's not attracted to, you'll feel the difference. 6. The anxious avoidant switch. One day she's all warmth, smiling, playful, leaning in. And the next she's distant, almost like she's avoiding you. This hot and cold rhythm is often linked to anxious avoidant behavior. She's drawn to you, but the vulnerability that comes with attraction makes her want to retreat. It's not that her feelings vanish overnight. It's that they might be too strong, and pulling back helps her feel safer. If you react with frustration, she'll retreat further. If you stay calm and consistent, she'll start to feel like she can trust the connection. 7. Subconscious mirroring. You lean back in your chair, and seconds later, she leans back too. You cross your arms, and she subtly does the same. This isn't conscious copying, it's subconscious mirroring, a rapport-building behavior the brain uses when it feels affinity. It's part of our evolutionary social wiring. We mimic those we feel connected to as a way to strengthen bonds. If you notice her adopting your posture, gestures, or even speech rhythms, that's her subconscious aligning with you, even if she's verbally trying to play it cool. 8. The accidental compliment. She casually mentions you smell good, or says your shirt looks nice, or notes that your voice sounds different today, but it's dropped in like an afterthought. Compliments like these are rarely accidents. In psychology, they're a form of positive reinforcement, and they tend to slip out when attraction overrides caution. The casual delivery is the disguise. The fact that she notices details most people would miss is the giveaway. People don't scan for tiny personal details in those they're indifferent to. 9. Eye contact that breaks too soon. You meet her gaze, and for a moment it's locked, deep, magnetic. But then, almost too quickly, she looks away. This isn't disinterest, it's intensity overload. Strong eye contact activates the limbic system, the emotional center of the brain, and if she's attracted, it can feel almost too vulnerable to hold. Looking away is a self-protective reflex, not a dismissal. If it happens repeatedly, it's often a sign she feels something she's not ready to fully reveal. 10. The nervous reset. Before she even says hello, she adjusts her hair, straightens her clothes, or checks her reflection in her phone. These are classic preening behaviors. Subtle ways we prepare ourselves when we want to make a good impression. Most people don't bother with them unless they care about how they're being perceived. Even if she does it under the guise of just fixing something, it's a small but telling sign that your opinion matters more than she's letting on. Attraction isn't always obvious. Sometimes it's hidden under layers of self-protection, social caution, or deliberate downplaying. But the body, the voice, the timing, they all betray what someone feels, even when they don't say it. If you've noticed more than 3 of these signs, chances are she's into you. Maybe she's not ready to act on it. Maybe she's testing you. But one thing's for sure, those little moments aren't random.